All right, this next exercise is what I call "You shall not pass," because it reminds me of Gandalf raising his staff on the bridge of Moria. I know that's crazy, but you'll never forget this exercise when I name it like that. But truly what we're doing is we're doing a max effort shoulder flexion. So shoulder flexion is the ability to get the shoulder overhead, and we're trying to improve that with this stretch and lift off combo. So it's a combination of stretching and lift off. Now, what I'm going to recommend is you do this with a PVC pipe and a stability ball, but you can also set this up different ways. If you happen to have one of those weighted spry bars, which is one of the weighted bars, that is freaking awesome. They have those at most group fit studios. You can do this with a mobility stick. PVC pipe works fine, and stability ball is gonna work great. Now, one of the cheats when it comes, so when people try to get their shoulder overhead, they often don't have the ability to flex their shoulder. So what they have to do is they have to arch their spine and throw their rib cage up, and away. So the ball is gonna help stop that cheat, but to be honest, a lot of people are going to still try to use their spine. And then the second thing is they're going to wanna bend their elbow. So during this exercise, we wanna try to keep a straight arm, and we wanna try to not arch our back. And you'll even see people try to rotate. So I'll show you what that looks like, but we're going to do both the stretch and flex, and then we're going to do the lift offs because it works great. So we're gonna set up in a good morning position, and the goal of the ball is to have a way of preventing the spine from cheating. So I'm going to kind of mold myself around the stability ball, and then I'm going to get my PVC pipe or mobility stick, and I want it to be strong and straight into the ground. And then once again, I don't want to bend in my elbow. I want a strong, straight arm. And then I'm going to take this other arm and kind of wrap and press my body into the ball. Now, the great thing about this exercise is we can train so many different angles because the shoulder has the most range of motion of any joint of the body. So if I want to work on a pull-up position, I can be here, but maybe I grip my pull-ups out wide and I need to be training here. The truth is we need to train everywhere because we don't want to be strong somewhere. So I want you to make sure that you do this in different angles, but the key is for the stretch. So if I'm here and I don't feel a stretch, I need to just walk my hand up higher, and I should feel some form of stretching in the underside armpit, in the lat. If you happen to feel pain and pinching in the top of the shoulder, that is a sign that you need to check internal and external rotation of the shoulder, or maybe it's an issue with your neck or shoulder blade. So I want you to realize if you don't feel stretch in this position, that's okay. First off, try moving the stick out and see if that changes it. Move your hand up and then play with, if your chest is too low, some people are gonna feel pain in the top of the shoulder. So maybe bring your chest a little bit higher, see if that changes it. But I want you to realize that if you feel pain in the shoulder and not a stretch in the lat, don't do a max effort stretch because it's not gonna make the shoulder feel better. So we're here, and then you wanna make sure that this is nice and strong. So I'm gonna find that stretch, and I wanna hold my hand and then think about dropping my shoulder blade down to the ground. So don't try to just simply bring your chest down. Think about holding your hand, hold your hand and squeeze, and then slowly bring your shoulder blade down, and there's my stretch. Now, we don't need to spend 2 minutes here because it's not that intensive a stretch, and I find 2 minutes is a little ridiculous. So I can wait about 30 seconds, and then for the contraction, I'm gonna think about driving my staff down like Gandalf, and I'm going to try to drive this down without bending my elbow. And then when it comes to lifting off, here's the 3 ways people cheat lifting off. Number 1, they bend the elbow. Number 2 is they twist their spine, so they go like this. So notice my PVC pipe is now all twisted. So when this lifts, it should stay strong and straight, perfectly like a pole, like a flagpole. So no leaning Tower of Pisa. And then the final thing is they like really try to use their back. So nothing should happen. So when I lift off, you shouldn't see me try to perform a back extension. You shouldn't see me try to twist my spine, and I shouldn't bend my elbow. I know that's a lot to keep track of, but I'm here, driving down. So I'm gonna drive down. So I'm gonna try to shove this PVC pipe all the way to the floor. So I'm driving down. Remember, your elbow stays straight. Don't bend your elbow. Driving down, 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 down. That's max effort. Now, right here to lift off, I would have to bend my elbow and cheat. So I might need to drop down or choke up a little bit less on the bat. And now watch, as I lift off, I do not bend my elbow, I don't do a back extension, and I don't cheat and roll. All I do is lift my shoulder, and I should lift about an inch. So here, just from the shoulder. And now I try to keep the PVC pipe perfectly upright and drive it through the ceiling, and I should lift off about an inch. Notice, that was just a shoulder thing, not a rest of the body thing. So, I'm here, I can change the angle, so then I drive down, and then lift off. Remember, this should just be a shoulder lift, not an anything else lift. And down. If the lift off was too hard, go down. If it was too easy. If you lift off by more than an inch, so if this is you, that's too easy. You need to go higher up, okay? And I can go out here, search and destroy for angles. But remember, say I go here and then I'm like, oh, that's painful in the top of the shoulder. If you feel pain in the top of the shoulder, not a stretch in the bottom side stuff, I would skip doing the flex there. You can still do the lift off. So same here, and I'm like, ooh, I don't like how that feels. Skip the down, so don't drive down, and you can still do the lift off. So I can still do my lift off here. Boom, okay? So search and destroy. The shoulder can go anywhere. So here, and then as you improve range of motion, we should get higher, higher, higher. You're gonna notice most people have a ton of passive shoulder flexion. So you'll see people up here for their passive, but then they only can do active lifts here without cheating. This is one of my favorite exercises. If you happen to have one of those spry bars that's weighted, the weighted bars that are like 4, 6, 10 pounds, those are freaking awesome. Make sure if you're not on a slippery surface so that doesn't slip out on you. We're trying to drive down. People are going to bend the elbow like crazy on this one. Remember, make sure you feel a stretch if you're going to do the stretch and flex down. And then when you lift off, try to it should just be the shoulder. Shoulder is moving inside the shoulder socket. It shouldn't be where you feel your back extending. You shouldn't feel your neck kinking. You shouldn't feel that you're cheating and rolling with your spine out, or you're doing something weird with your shoulder blade. And if you lift more than an inch, it's too easy, okay? These are freaking awesome, but now you see how much ground we have to cover with the shoulder. And this is why a lot of people tend to have shoulder problems, is in their gym exercises, they only train the shoulder to move in this small amount of space, but yet in the real world, your shoulder has to cover all this ground. So if it feels bad, just do the lift off in terms of the stretch, and then just knows the difference between the two shoulders. And this is going to be your Gandalf lift, which is basically our shoulder stretch and flex.